As we approach Christmas, during this season of Advent, one of the things that I love to reflect on are the three comings of Christ. Now, we often think about the first coming of Christ at his birth and the final coming of Christ at the end of time when he comes as judge in glory. And the Mass even helps remind us of that, the liturgy during the Advent season. If we're able to go to Mass daily, or at least to read the readings at Mass, for Mass, then we'll see that at the beginning of Advent, it's really all focused on judgment, actually. It's not about a cute baby in a crib. It's about Christ coming as judge and in glory and power. And so the liturgy is teaching us and showing us how to prepare, and really the deeper significance of Advent beyond just something that's happened in the past, but that Advent, this coming, that's what that word means, is also something in the future for us, so past and future. And so only in the last week of the Advent season will the readings at Mass turn towards the Annunciation and the preparations for Christ's birth. So we can learn a lot from the liturgy there and how we can prepare ourselves. In addition to Christ's coming at his birth and his future coming as judge, St. Bernard of Clairvaux also talks about Christ coming at every moment of every day in our hearts through grace. So Christ tells us in the Gospel of John that he who loves me will keep my word, and my Father will come to him, and we will dwell with him. We will dwell with him, right? The whole Trinity will dwell in our souls as we strive to love Christ. Not that we do it perfectly, but our desire is there. And so Christ comes. He's so eager to come to be with us, right? That word Advent, that coming. As we look at these comings, we see actually this role of silence in each of them, right? So there's the hiddenness of at his second judgment, what that will be like at the second coming, excuse me. But there's also at his birth, it's silent, right? There's a hiddenness, Silent Night, right? The beautiful Christmas carol. And then each moment of our day, when Christ desires to come to be with us, it's in silence, and that's often why we miss it. We miss those opportunities sometimes because of the noise in our lives, the noise in our hearts and in our minds. And so we need to be very purposeful and intentional in seeking out silence so that we can recognize him coming to us in those simple, ordinary moments of our life. And so the season of Advent can help us to do that. So why do we need silence? If we look around at the world around us, we'll see silence actually plays a great role, but we often overlook it or just take it for granted. So when a child is growing in his mother's womb, right, that happens in silence, this incredible mystery of life. When a flower growing from a small seed begins to unravel, that again, the role of silence in nature. We know that often healing comes when we sleep, right? When you're sick, you need to sleep more. When you're injured, you sleep more. Right? There's something about that role of silence, not just for growth, but also for healing. And I think in each of our lives, we desire more growth, growing closer to the Lord. We know that we require healing so that obstacles can be removed so we can move closer to the Lord, or rather that we can allow him to move closer to us. Or even when I'm driving and maybe I get disoriented, so I realize I've made a wrong turn. My first instinct is to turn off the radio. I need silence so that I can focus and recognize where am I and where am I really trying to go and how do I get there? And so again, the role of silence for growth, for healing, but also to reorient us and help us to focus. So the next time I speak with you all, I hope to just give some practicals of how we could implement silence into our lives more. But for now, just to reflect on the fact that Christ was born in silence. Christ comes to us through grace in silence, in those hidden, unnoticed moments. And even when we're at Mass, when Christ comes to us in the Eucharist, right? That's the most silent moment of the entire Mass. And then they have the little bells ring so that we can recognize it's so small and hidden, we don't want to miss it. And so as we reflect on these important roles of silence in our lives, we can really think about, all right, what obstacles can I remove in my life and in my heart so that Christ is able to dwell there. I want to make a home for him there. And so next time we talk, I'll talk a little bit more about the practicals of silence. Thank you.